Hi everybody, welcome back to the bookshop. If you're new here, my name is Shelley. Long time no see. It's been over a year since I have posted any content to my channel, but I hope to change that, starting with this journal. I'm going to do a flip through of this. It is so big. This is actually the third time I've tried this. The last time, a few minutes ago, my camera shut off. I think my SD card was full. Anyway, the first time I did it, the video was over an hour and a half long, so I am really going to try to shave some time off of that. So we are going to get started. This journal is for a woman who saw my grandma's attic journal, and she contacted me and asked me to make her one. So went through several ideas. I had different ideas in the beginning, and then I just decided to make it. It's all about the things that she likes. She is a grandma. She is a crafter. She makes journals too. She's like a lot of us that likes, French ephemera and sewing and nature and different fonts, and I know that she is like a kindred spirit to me. Everything that I love, she loves. She has a huge online photo album of her enormous collections. And I was like, I have one of those, I have one of those, I have one of those. But anyway, so we're going to start with, first thing is she loves neutral colors. She also likes the pale pastels, pink, blue, purple. But that's why I chose this fabric. I thought the fabric really told a lot of the story about her. The different scripts and fonts, the neutral colors. It has the dress forms that represent the sewing. On the back, it says Paris and has the Eiffel Tower, so that represents the French part. All these different scripts on here. She said she likes neutrals, but also gray. There's a lot of gray on this cover. I love this cover too. I love this fabric. So I thought it was kind of perfect for her. The journal is 8 1/4 by 5 1/2. The spine is 2 3/4 inches wide, but over here it's 4 3/4 inches wide. I went a little overboard. It's 5 signatures. It was supposed to be 3. I actually had it all put together, and it was full, and I was like, well, I'm not done yet. So I took it apart, made another cover, added a couple more signatures, and even now, I told her almost a month ago that it was almost done, and then I made a few more things. I made a dangle, which I was thinking I'd never made a dangle before, but I did make one years ago. But this one, I did the button spine, so I made one to kind of go, it's supposed to go like this. The neutral colors, the cool wooden buttons, and then I had these pretty white and gold beads. So there's like one on each. There's a butterfly here and a heart here, and then this one has an angel, which I tried to use a bead spacer to make like a halo, but it's kind of like a crooked halo. So I was going to string these on like beads, but they're so thin I could not drill a hole through. I tried and it just didn't work. This comes off, so we'll put that over here, and then you can see the pretty neutral brown and black kind of buttons. And then I did do the closure with the strings, with the things tied onto the strings again. I'm not sure why, because I had thought I was going to do a closure here. I put in the eyelets. I did the filigree pieces on the front and back cover like I usually do, which helps strengthen it. So when you have something tied around there, it helps keep it from crushing over time, especially when something's this big. So there's the filigree piece. So yeah, you can see the cover. Okay, this journal is so big that I am going to use something to help prop up the cover as we go. The inside has 2 pockets here, but I used a really cool fabric for the inside of the journal. This is an old sewing fabric, and it has instructions on it, and it has, see right here, it looks like a quilt pattern that someone's making, and then this is like block construction. I don't know much about quilting, but I thought the fabric was really cool. And then I used a piece of it to make this first pocket, and in there I put some of these. I like alphabets. I think she does too. I know she likes different kinds of fonts and script, but I put these kind of things in all my journals. They're just a favorite of mine. I made this little stamp card for her with some washi on the back, but I have to say this is a gift. This company that makes this stamp does not allow you to sell items that you make with the stamp, so this is a gift. And then this is a French ephemera. I think I said she is a huge fan of French ephemera. Now, I do not have a big collection of French ephemera. I wish I did. I wish I could fill the journal with real French ephemera from France, but it's very expensive. Anyone who has shopped for it knows that. 2 things. If I had it, I would want to hoard it. I would want to keep it. Second, if you add it to a journal, well, it's going to raise the price a lot. So I made my own French ephemera, including, this one has a wax seal on it. All of the stamps in here, though, are real. I do have a good collection of vintage French stamps. Like this one's from 1935. This particular stamp, which I really love, it was the perfect color to go with this. This celebrates the 300 years of the French Academy, and it's all in French. It says like Tricentennial, l'Académie Française. I cannot speak French at all, but it's from 1635 to 1935. So this stamp is from 1935. This reminds me of Cyrano de Bergerac. I think I already had this open from earlier and I didn't fold it up again, but it's very cool, and it's one of those, this should be folded into there. It folds up into make its own envelope. But like I said, I tried to record earlier and I hadn't gotten around to folding it back up yet. Isn't this cool though? Nice piece, nice stamp. Some of them will have real stamps. Some of them I didn't cover up the stamps. And this is from 1900 something. They didn't fill it in, but the oldest it would have been was 1909. Lion. That's in French. So, and it's got a cool stamp on here too. So, nice piece. And then the other little pocket here, this is from the corner of a doily, and I sewed it with the little hearts around the edge. And in there is, her favorite flowers are the peony, hydrangea, and lilac, which I thought was kind of cool because my favorite is lilacs and hydrangeas. And then there's a couple of, this book belongs to, there's a metal tag. It's stamped, and the story begins. This little pocket she might have sent me. She sent me a large box, a huge box of stuff, and a lot of it made its way into this journal. This is a playing card. I don't know if you can see. It was a 7 of hearts. You can probably see some of the hearts on here. And then the 7. I think this is a Tim Holtz decoupage paper. I'm not sure. I made this a long time ago, but I included it because her lucky number is 7. So being the 7 of hearts and then having the 7 on it, I thought, well, that was perfect. When I came across that, I decided to put it in here, but you will see the 7 popping up all throughout this journal. That was something that just happened, like right here. This is a Tim Holtz charm, and it is the number 7. So originally I had put the charm up here, but then I realized these tabs were in the way. I used the lace tabs, and each one has a number tab on the back, so they're stiff. So I couldn't put anything there because it had no give. I did end up finding this partial string of rosary beads, which I added. I collect rosaries, and I have a lot of old broken ones. And there's a lot of charms all throughout the journal, so we'll see those as we go. But she's a Catholic, so there are a few religious items, but that's why I thought the beads went really good up there. Here's a lace belly band. This is a little booklet I made. This is another thing. This has a lot of writing space, this little booklet. But the journal, I usually make writing journals, and half the pages are blank. Now, there is still a lot of blank pages because obviously I couldn't decorate every page. You can see how full it is already. But also things like this, tags, journal cards. There's just a ton of writing room, whether she's going to journal or not. That's just the way it is. This is another piece of French ephemera. This is a very popular digital, and I love this one. It's got the most beautiful handwriting, and it's got the cool stamp. I printed this on a paper that's 25% cotton, so it feels like the old rag paper. Just very cool. Feels like a combination of fabric and paper. And this is a 2-sided one. I like to do a lot of 2-sided ephemera, but I only do that if it is an actual 2-sided one or a 2-page piece. Then I'll print it on the front and back. I don't use just 2 random pieces and then print them on the front and back. This is an old envelope I made years and years ago. I thought it was kind of cool. It has the Eiffel Tower on it. It's decoupage. But I used to print onto tissue paper and then decoupage with it because I could never find cool napkins. So that's how this was made. I printed onto tissue paper, and then I put it through an embossing folder, which gave it this cool texture. This next piece is made from an envelope. This is the pocket of the envelope, and I made like a little prayer card. This was just a piece of French ephemera. It's got French writing on it, and I added this lace to it, and I thought it turned out really cool. I've seen prayer cards that look exactly like that, so I thought that was a nice simple piece, but it looked really cool. The back of the envelope has 3 pockets, and it's just full of small pieces of French ephemera. Most of them have this Jean Girard fils on it. He was a French perfume maker. And when they say Grasse and Paris, those are the 2 locations, see, Grasse, Paris, of the perfume factories. So, just different ephemera. These 2 are both him too. Jean Girard fils. It just says J. I think it says J-N. It's Jean, J-E-A-N. Those are all. And then this side has the flap for the envelope, and I tucked a couple pieces in there in a pretty like French blue pattern. These buttons I sewed directly onto the card and then covered the back with coffee dyed paper. This one's a little notepad. This paper is from My Porch Prints, and it's the sepia and ivory kit, and that's the one I used for the main papers of this journal. There's not a lot of them in here because I used a lot of just my own papers. Like this is Braille paper. She sent me some. She sent me one piece in a really, really cool color. But this is some of mine. And then there's a lot of sewing. You can see this is sewn here. There's threads everywhere, top and bottom. If you don't like the threads, you can cut them off, but I'm pretty sure she'll be the type that likes the threads. Here's another little, just a simple little journal card with peonies on it. There's a lot of paper clips all throughout the journal, a huge variety of paper clips. I use them because I don't like stuff sliding out. Like if that wasn't on here, this bingo card would keep sliding out. This bingo card is a real vintage bingo card from Milton Bradley Company. She also sent me a couple different bingo cards. One of them was green, which I really love, but I'm making a journal for my sister with green as the main color, so I saved it for that. I added this photo. It's not a real photo. It's from a book. But she said her grandma loved to play cards. So I thought that was a really cool picture of a woman playing the cards, probably from about the time that her grandmother would have been. Now this is music from a player piano music roll, and she sent this to me. I actually have about a dozen rolls of this, but I liked hers for a couple of reasons. First of all, it has these stars printed on it. I've never seen that, and I thought that was really cool. Plus, it has the coolest lyrics. This one says, I know my Greek and history, and Latin is a pie, and it's spelled P-I-E. I had to write over it because the sewing made it so you couldn't see it very well. But it's got some washi tape on it, and sewing all around the whole edge. The side is a flip. Here's a couple pieces. This is a French postcard. I think this says sincere wishes. There's 5 or 6 of these in this journal, and they're digital, but each one had an image of a stamp, and so I have covered this digital image with a real French stamp. I have a collection of real French postage stamps, and so I tried to put the exact stamp that was on the postcard, a real one, on there. This is a first day issue. There's a couple of these in here too. It's got Mount Vernon, and it's got 6 of these 1.5 cent stamps. It's from 1956. I always think those are kind of cool. They tell a cool story. This I made a pocket, a circle pocket, and then it matched the page that was underneath. So I cut it to line them up. And then I did this inner part of the butterfly with some Nouveau crystal drops. And there's just a few pieces of French ephemera. This is just a little kit card from the kit. This pocket I made from a paper doily, and it's sewn to a piece of tracing paper. This is sewn all around the edge, and it has some lace on it right there. Never done that before, but I'm going to do that in the future. I love this pocket, and it's a great way to use, you know, things that usually are just like decorative, that using the tracing paper and doily combined to make a pocket. I really like that idea. I think this is like a wine label, and then this, some kind of receipt, but I put this cool stamp on it. This is a real stamp, and then another receipt of some kind. This next piece, this is wallpaper, and I just added these 2 cards. I thought they were pretty, but I attached them. Here's another paper clip. This one's in the shape of a tulip, but it's also holding down these playing cards, which add up to 7. This came from a paper pad that I bought years and years ago. One of the first paper pads I ever bought. I couldn't tell you what it's called. But I ran across this just going through my stuff, and I was like, well, it's a 7, so let's use it. This was this wallpaper were really the only like white pages in the journal, and it was kind of bugging me, so I went back last minute. One of the things I've done since I told her it was finished is the stencil of this page, which I have to say I love how it turned out. This is a page from a French dictionary. This is a dictionary from 1890. So it's 135 years old. And I put one in, I think, almost every signature, but I chose certain pages. And this one is the page that says Saint. And in France, they spell saint the same way we do. I do believe for a female saint, it has an E on the end. So this little pocket here has a couple of little tags, tiny little cross. In here, there's one of the Tim Holtz flashcards that says Faith. This is a flashcard that she sent me. I thought this was so cool. I've never seen these in a shape like this, but I put it in here because of the sevens. Dad, go potty. You go to bed. Mom will be there in a minute. My dog is trying to get me to go to bed with him. Mom will be there in a minute, and I'm working, okay? In here are two. This is, I asked her what her favorite saint was, and she said when she was younger it was Saint Michael. I love this prayer card. This is so pretty. I hope you can see the gold on it. One of the prettiest cards I've ever seen. It's got a prayer on the back. Gorgeous, gorgeous. So, and then this actually I think came from her. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine on you and be gracious to you. So I tucked that back in there. And then this also came from her. It's an angel card with a prayer on the back. And then we have this medal. I added this medal. If you guys have heard some of my previous flip throughs, I've talked about how I sold religious charm bracelets on eBay for 10 years. And so this is a St. Michael medal. It's got guardian angel on back, guardian angel and child. Love that image. It's stamped Italy. But this is a really unique shape. Usually they're just plain oval. And you don't see these that often. And I love the shape. There's one other piece. There's a pocket behind there. And this, kind of goes with the faith flashcard. And this says faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. And it's a really old, from a tablet, like stationery. I think it says 1983 or 1985. I can't remember right now, and it's way too small for me to be able to see it. There's a couple of journal cards in here. These I just added. I thought they were pretty. Little pop of color. I put a black tab on the tag and a purple butterfly. Beautiful lace. I use this lace on several pockets, actually, because I like it so much. This is the other side of the French dictionary. The other side of the wallpaper. It also got stenciled. Here's another pocket. This is the tracing paper doily pocket. This one side I made a pocket. The other side I didn't. But here's another piece of French ephemera. This one is on a really thin paper, like newsprint. Gorgeous though, two-sided. Has some stamps on here. I didn't put real stamps over there because I didn't want to cover that script. Beautiful piece. Little Tim Holtz tiny paper clips. I got several of these in here. And then in this pocket, there's just several. This is a French piece, but these are, I think this is like the cover of a sheet music. And then a watch ad. This is a page of the sepia and ivory kit. Here's another of those pockets, a round pocket. This one has roses on it. And I did the Nouveau crystal drops. And again, I lined it up with a page with the same print on it. Here's her 3 favorite flowers. Peonies, lilacs, hydrangeas. Beautiful colors on those. And then this, I think this piece is from chapter 1. This is like an embroidery piece. I have some pillowcases with similar stuff. Little ladies dancing that are embroidered. Really old. I don't know how many more years they're going to hold up because I actually use them on my bed. But I thought that was really pretty. And it being round, it went in that pocket really good. This pocket is made from an envelope. It's just turned sideways and one of the flaps is cut off. This has another one of those postcards. I think this is like Goodyear. And this is the stamp, the real stamp covering the digital one. And then this pretty bird cage. She likes bird houses. I like bird cages. I don't like to cage birds, but I think like that's beautiful. I have quite a few bird cages. Some of them are huge and some are just small decorative ones. There's the music paper, the braille paper. There's another pocket back here with a few pieces of French ephemera. And then these 2 journal cards are from chapter 1. These are the papers I was thinking about using in the beginning, but there was just a lot of color. So I thought, well, I'll just add the journal cards and there'll be enough color. Like right here, I made these tags. These are fabric. She likes, I don't know if she collects teacups. She likes teacups. I have a small collection, like 6 sets of the cup and saucer from England, the old English bone china, where they have the gold rim and stuff. And that's like what these are. And when this was just a small, like, scrap of fabric. And I was like, oh, isn't that cute? The teacups. That one's got a little heart hanging from the handle. So these were made, I sewed the fabric onto like Amazon bubble packaging, but they were so thick that I actually had to sit there and pop all the bubbles. Excuse me. Yeah, they're still thick, and you can tell it was bubble wrap, but most of the bubbles got popped, so I could get them to fit in here. Here's a hidden paper clip with the peony. Paper clip is hidden in there. And then here's another charm. And this is the Eiffel Tower. I thought that was good for her. Okay, the second signature. This one is all about sewing. Actually, the second and the 4th signature have the sewing theme. These papers are from Margaret at 7 Plaza. If you go onto Ko-Fi Coffee, and look up 7 Plaza, a lot of you probably know who she is already. Great kit, really pretty. I love it. It's got pinks and blues in it. She did a great job. And she's got a freebie too. You can buy the kit and get a freebie. These little pieces here are die cuts. I made a little thimble. And it just tucks into this little paper clip right there. And then there's a pair of scissors. And those just tuck into this piece of lace. You can tuck under there and stay out of the way a little bit. But yeah, those are just a couple of die cuts. And then in this pocket, this is like a burlap pocket. There's 2 of these cards. There's 4 of these total. There's 2 later on. These are really cool. They have like, they're informational. It shows all different kinds of needles and different sizes. And then look at all the different thimbles, different sizes, measuring tape. That's a tracing wheel. Not sure what that is, if it's an awl or thimbles, measuring tape, tracing wheel. It's called a stiletto. Anyway, and then this envelope, I found this envelope in a package that I got at the thrift store. It's got an old 4-cent stamp on it, and it's postmarked 1961. But there's a not a I was gonna say a pattern, but I think it's actually called like a transfer or something, where you iron it and you transfer the design to fabric. But I think it's a little animal. I think it's like a bunny or something. You can see his mouth and his tongue, the eyes. These are some of the eye pieces. There's a bunch of little pieces in here. The tongue piece. So I thought maybe she could use it. She has children and grandchildren, and she makes them Christmas ornaments every year for 21 years. Can you imagine? Even if you only have like 3 kids and they each have a couple kids, how many does that add up to that you have to make? 21 for each kid. This is a cool sewing pattern design. This is from a shop called K and May. K-A-Y and M-A-Y. There's a couple pages in here. Here's another charm. Look at the tiny little teddy bear. She has a collection. I told you she had an online like photo album. And she collects so many different things. Lots and lots of sewing ephemera, but dolls and teddy bears. And she had a tiny, tiny teddy bear that fit inside a thimble. I mean, for all I know, the thimble's this big with the teddy bear in it, but it looks like a regular thimble with a teddy bear in it. But I just thought that went perfectly with the thimbles on here. And he's a little tiny teddy bear. The Old Singer sewing machine. I have one that looks really exactly like that. I only have one side of the drawers, and mine has 3 drawers. But all of this is the same. And okay, here's the second French dictionary page, and this one has the word couture. Couture is French for sewing. It can mean dressmaker, dressmaking. If you add the word haute to it, H-A-U-T-E, haute couture, it's high fashion. So, dressmaker. This is a patent, an image of an old patent for the dress forms. It's got cool signatures down here for the inventor and the witnesses, and then here's the signature, and it says attorney. Very cool. And then I made a big pocket out of it's printed on vellum. So again, I decided to sew it to another paper, because when you turn the page, then it's backwards. I was like, oh, that's not that cool. I'll put another piece of paper up against it and make it into a pocket. So the dressmaker, I thought that worked with the French couture. And then another dress. On the other side is another couple more things to do with the little teacups. This is like a little teacup doily. And then there's some couple little tea time card. And this one is for coloring. I got a box of cards with a little box of colored pencils. And you're supposed to color them. I found the little teapots and matching teacups. I thought that was cute. This one. That's like the kind of teacups I have. Different patterns. But if you go to my Etsy shop, on my banner, one of the things in the image is the little rose teacup with the gold edge, and it's got a little gold spoon in it. And then she's drinking a little cup of tea. This is an image of an old sewing machine. All of this page is in French. So this charm, this is a crucifix, an old one, but on the back it says France. I bought a lot of about 50 of these from a French woman, and they were sent to me from France. She said they were used in a nunnery where they would make rosaries and add these little crosses to small rosaries. I bought those long time ago. This side has a couple of journal cards. See there it says Haute Couture, Paris. And then there's a little journal card there. And I made this heart-shaped piece using pattern paper. There's a bunch of layers. But it says Vogue pattern. And it's got a big giant snap on there. That's, she sent that to me. That's the biggest snap I've ever seen. I thought it was kind of cool though. And then this sewing pattern paper. And this has directions. Something to do with the lines, lengthening or shortening the lines. It's in English, French, Espanol. And then there's a pocket on this side and a tag. This is paper, like heavy paper, tape measure. She sent me that. It's really old. And I made these large tags using the directions that came with a sewing pattern. I thought that was really cool. I actually really like these tags. The color is cool. Then this is an old French ad. All this writing is in French. And it's like an old French magazine. The La Mode Illustrée. French, like fashion. Look at the beautiful dresses. And then this piece, she made it using French receipts and put the images on it. But this part, all the different hats, and this part, this is a miniature of the magazine, French magazine, and this is, see, here's the cover of the magazine, but here would be a page with the cool dresses and stuff. And this piece is actually like the top of the page, like this, but I cut it off, glued it at the bottom, upside down, so that when I flipped it up, it would be right side up. It's kind of... Anyway, this is held in by one of those paper clips. Let me check the camera, make sure it's still videotaping. This is where it went off last time. Here's another tag made out of the directions from a sewing pattern. Simplicity Sewing Book. I put tabs on them. And then there's a few tags in this pocket. This is like an old button card. There's a tag, and then a jar of buttons. Don't we all have a jar of buttons? I have several. And then this pocket, this is an actual old vintage handkerchief. This is called a Rita Donnelly flip. It's invented by Rita Donnelly years and years and years ago. But I'm using an actual handkerchief, and then this is cardstock, so you can lift up and write in here. But it's got the pretty lace, embroidery on it, and turned into a pocket. This is a vintage copy of a button, hooks. It's all sewn around too. It's got the threads on it. This is a sewing repair tag. It shows the metal from when it was attached to the sewing machine. Dated August 3rd, 1984. Clean oil adjust. That's the claim check part. Then I made this little pocket out of some ticking. It's just got some little ephemera pieces in it. The old sewing machine. Another copy of like a button card. Some other little pieces. Then this is a thing that she sent me. It's actual sewing needles. Made in England. What I love about this, they're sevens. They're called betweens. made of Sheffield steel. She sent me several of these. The other ones I'm keeping because I don't have any needles. All I have are large, like bookbinding needles. And I do sew sometimes. So this is another patent page. I think it says 1866. And this is called a skirt elevator. And they use it, I guess, to hold up little areas of the skirt to make it look prettier. I had actually never heard of one of those before. And a couple more large journaling cards, sewing thread. This one I did fancy stitches on it. And this one I did the hearts all the way around the card. Playing with my sewing machine. Checking out the stitches. Okay, there's the other side of the French dictionary. And then, let me move that. It's just a cluster of pretty pink laces and netting and a little flower and a tiny, tiny button. And I used pink thread to sew it on there. And then this pocket has a bunch of like button card. I think this pocket is made from a piece that she sent me. This was a packet for needles, but I think it was empty. So I made it into a pocket. Snaps. This is another one that's kind of like this one. And then another needle pack. This one is digital, JCPenney, 10 cents. And then this is a real seam binding cover from my seam binding that I have that I get at the thrift store. 15 cents for 3 yards. Pretty good, huh? And also I thought it was cool on the inside. It shows you how to make an apron. Does anybody wear aprons anymore? Not very often. Sometimes I wish I had one, but that's the back of the 7 Plaza paper. Pretty cool, huh? Okay, so signature 3. We gotta hurry up and get busy. This is old cameo. I have several of these. I got these when I was making charm bracelets. Love them. This signature is kind of nature themed. Birds and flowers and stuff like that. This was sewing, this one's nature. Here's a image of some peonies, her favorite flower, and then also in here, this is peonies, symbolism and some meanings. This flower, I fussy cut. I fussy cut that out and glued it onto this card. This is a piece of stationery, pretty flowers. This is embossed. You probably can't see it, but it has texture. Coffee dyed tracing paper or parchment paper. This pocket just has some scraps. There's the other little peony journal card. I get these little tablets at the thrift store, and I always get them from St. Jude Children's Hospital. And I like to add them to remind people if they can to donate. But it had a little birdhouse on it too. And then this piece has some hydrangeas. There's some lilacs. Okay, she likes dragonflies. So I had this pocket that I made years ago, but this sticker I've had also for several years. I love it. I just never really had a use for it before. So I stuck it on this pocket to decorate it. I thought it's really pretty. I have a tablet with these dragonflies on it. They're on both sides. Put a couple pieces of that in there. And then one of these reminds me of something that comes from the Biodiversity Heritage Library or something like that. Here is a vintage, I think it's vintage, 2009, not that old, but it's a book on dragonflies, a children's book on dragonflies. So put that in there. And then this tag I made with decoupage and stenciling. This is a napkin I got from my daughter-in-law with the dragonflies and some other little insects. So I did that. And so that's all the little dragonfly stuff. Here's, this is a Tim Holtz paper, but it has all the different fonts. I think there's, what, 3 different fonts on here. And then the back side, I just made a little pocket out of some digital doilies. This came from a thing that said French ephemera. It says Paris on there. And then I have these tickets. Just put some little odds and ends in there. Some vintage graph paper. Other little paper clip. Here's another one of those postcards, and it's got the real stamp on it. A lot of them had that green, like, not 5 cent, 5 whatever it is in France. 365 days of, I forget what it says. This is a tag I made years ago, and I liked it so much I scanned it. It was decoupage. This was a napkin, and then I stamped the corners. I thought it was pretty, so I had a copy of it laying around. I decided to add it here. This is a vintage doily, beautiful gold doily, very delicate. I can't remember if I've ever used it in a journal before. I don't remember using it, but I decided to glue it to the paper because actually it was getting damaged. Because it's like, kind of like lace, but very thin. So anyway, I thought it's beautiful. I love it glued to the paper, actually. This is some cool green paper that I have. It's very wide, so it makes great for flips. I made this pocket here out of a time card. And then this image was just one of those papers you get in bundles. And I cut it in half and used half for the pocket and half for the tag. And it's got a dragonfly on it and actually hydrangeas. Just had a little bit of everything that she likes, but very colorful. I did a stencil on the background of that part. This is from the kit, the sepia and ivory kit. Here is a charm. This is the Tree of Life. And then this side, oh yeah, I took a half of a doily, cut it into corners, and did a pocket up in the corner. I like to try to get some stuff up top because so much of the stuff ends up down at the bottom. So when I can, here's another one of the lilac cards. And then these two are scans of some real pressed flower tags that I made years ago. And I think I was just going through my stash and came across this, and I thought they went pretty well in this section, and just even with this paper. Graph paper. This is a cool French paper. Cool stamp, says Paris. This was a real stamp, and had a stamp here, and I decided to put this real one on it. This was very similar to the one that was on this digital image, but I really love this piece. I could not tell you where I got it. I hope I can figure it out though, because I'd like to print it again. It says 1906 up there. I think this is the Garden of Villandry. Not sure how you say that, but I'm pretty sure that means garden. So I might be wrong. And then red ticking printed on the back. Birds. Here's the other half of the pocket. The other quarter, whatever. There's another lilac card. This is a vintage deck of cards called Flinch. So, of course, I put the 7 in here. You'll see these. Tim Holtz uses these just like he uses like a lottery old vintage lottery tickets in some of his paper designs. And then this paper with the Eiffel Tower. This is one of my favorite stamps of all. I hope you guys can see it. It's a woman's hand, and she's holding something. But I loved the blue color, and it says Republic of France in French. And there's blue curtains and a building. It's like out the window, and you can see a building in the background. I just really liked that stamp, and I thought it went perfectly there. This piece, there's some hydrangeas. This piece, you untie. This is just embroidery floss. And then you can open up one side. And this just folds out for journaling space. Even though she said she didn't need writing space, there were just still things that I wanted to make. So there's the other side of the gold doily. Here's another one of the French postcards with another stamp. This has got the green one. I can't remember what it says. This is the chapter 1, the pink and blue papers. And then another little pocket with some more little ephemera pieces. That's the other side with the different fonts. And then this one, this is a real pressed flower tag. This is one that I made. It's got a rose and a fern, both from my yard. This was one of my favorite tags. It's on the black background. I had actually kept this for myself. I made a set, and I was like, God, I like that tag. But then I wanted to give it to her. This piece of ephemera, I used the Nouveau drops all around the edge. I colored all of the roses with it, these big roses. I just loved how that looked. This is avocado dyed lace. Some people say red and pink clash, but I thought the red and pink, the avocado dyed lace is almost this exact color. I thought it went well with the red. There's another paper clip. These paper clips with the hearts and stars, these kind of copper colored ones, those are the least expensive. They came from Dollar Tree, and they're probably some of my favorites, even more than like some of the fancier ones. Okay, this, she said she loved stained glass. So I made her this piece. Has like stained glass bees. I had thought about doing like a stained glass window, but I don't know. I saw these. I thought they were really pretty. Plus it gave me the opportunity to use a, whatever you call it, embossing folder. This is all textured with honeycomb on both sides, and then sewn around, and then colored. This was all inked to get the different yellow colors to make it look like honey. Okay, lilacs. This pocket. This is another one of those kind of, and that's a real stamp. I have to fill them to make sure. That's a real stamp I put on there. This is one of those ones that's folded up. Beautiful script. This looks like a letter of some kind. And then parchment paper, the stationery. This is all blues. That tucks under there, and then this opens up. There's some dragonflies here. Got some lace on it. Dragonflies. I think this was a piece Roxy Creations made it in one of her weekly challenges, and I just decided to make one. And then, see, this is like one of those letters, just like the one I just showed. And right there, too. This just tucks under this tab. And it's just pretty. Oh, there's a stamp. Okay. Peonies. I think this is the last page in this signature, yeah. This is from an old guest book. And I sewed the leaves on here. And then there's writing space in here. And I made this tag. I made it into a pocket by just gluing down 3 sides. And then I made this tag. This butterfly is a sticker. I thought it was almost a perfect match for the butterfly on the guest book page. And then made a little pocket. This is a Tracy Fox little, she has these mini floral tags. And this is an old piece of Tim Holtz ephemera. Just all the colors matched with all this stuff. Florals. And then here's a charm. I'm not really sure. I think this symbolism must mean something, but I could not figure out what it was. I did try to look it up. But it's a heart with a heart cut out. And then down here has like a cross cut out, like the cross that's like the Red Cross, their symbol. And then there, it's like they cut out the cross from there and attached it up here. I don't know. It just seems like it should mean something, but I don't know what. I'm sure it's pretty old. Vintage, not antique. But. Okay, that's the end of that one. Here's another sewing signature. We've got another pattern page. Avocado dyed doily. These are some real simple tags that I didn't do anything to except I added a tab. I thought it was funny that I have these 3 tabs. And the pink went with the pink fabric. And the dark pink went with the dark pink thread. And then this one was like multicolored, and I had all these multicolors of thread. It was just a coincidence. But that was decided that was all it really needed, was some tabs. Just some threads and some fabrics. There's a flip here. Put a photograph here or journal here. I loved this page. This is from an Etsy shop called Ink and Page, and I thought it looked like a quilt. Plus I love these colors. This came with those 3 tags in the pink colors. And then this is another real vintage handkerchief, and I did it towards the top, just like I was saying with the paper doily, to try to get some of the ephemera towards the top. And then here's 2 more of those kind of informational cards that I really like. This one's all about buttons. And then this one is different stitches. I think this is embroidery stitches. Feather stitch, French knot, bullion knot. And it shows you how to do them. And so on this French dictionary page, I chose embroidery. The French pronounce it broidery without the EM at the beginning. And I looked it up, and we took the French word broidery and made it embroidery. And so here is an embroidered doily, and a vintage cotton doily with just what do you call that, monochromatic, because it's all white, though it's got white thread on the white doily. This is just like the one at the beginning of the book, the little partial one that I used to make a pocket. But so I put a little embroidered fabric doily in here. This is a chapter 1 page. This is the fabric that I used on the inside of the book cover that I showed at the very beginning also. It's also on the back page. And then I made some trim using a piece of lace and sewing some buttons on it. Now I like to do that and do it on the edge of a page. Is a cool trim. If you guys watch Gail Augustinelli, she's got, I sent her a piece of that, and she put it in her book of different page edges, the lace with the buttons on it. That was from me. There's the other side of the doily, the other side of the French dictionary page. This is a piece, I was thinking it was embroidery, and maybe it's a combination, because those are not cross stitches, but these are the little X's, like cross stitch. But I just stapled it on. I have this little stapler that has purple staples in it, so I like to use it once in a while. This is an over-the-page belly band. This paper, I love this paper. It's like embossed. The dress form, if you can see, it's like shiny. It came from an old paper pad, another one that, I'm sorry, I can't remember. If you really need to know, ask me in the comments and I'll let you know. Anyway, this is over the page so it can slide off. You can journal here and then cover it up and have like secret journaling. Underneath here are 2 tags. This is one kind of like the, I think it's maybe even the same image, but the other one is round, and this is a beautiful oval one. And then this tag I made with some scraps. I'm pretty sure that she sent me this white piece, and it had this dress form already die cut out of it, so it was a scrap. And then I had this pink paper that was a scrap. It's got like a tape measure on it. I've had it hanging around for years, and I had both pieces in the box with, you know, the stuff I'm going to use to make the journal, and it took me weeks to finally put the 2 together. And when I did, I was like, that is cool. I didn't trim either one of them down. They just worked out perfect. I like how the tape measure makes the base of this look like wood. It's just one of those things where you add 2 scraps, and when you put them together, they came together perfectly. And then, you know, I sewed all the way around it. This is the other side of the belly band. When you make it, you take your piece and fold it over the back and make this little pocket. So in the little pocket, I made this bag from like parchment paper, and it's got some vintage sewing machine repair tags. Northwest Sewing Center. This is from when they still had letters for your phone number. This one's blank, was not used apparently, but this one had someone's sewing machine serial numbers on it and stuff. But yeah, so those are both vintage from the Northwest Sewing Center repair tags, and I put them in there. One of them I put the piece of lace on. And then I made this piece, and I love this. First of all, it's got a 7 on it. It was just a little black tag. And she sent me these little sewing for threading a needle, and they're the kind that have a piece of wire that comes off of here. Well, I pulled on them or something, and the wire came off, and I was like, oh shoot, you know. Tried to put it back in. Can't do that. Once it's out, it's out. There was 2 of them, and I did it twice, and I wasn't trying to. And so then after I ruined them, I was like, oh, what am I going to do with those? Well, it just came to me, and I'm sorry, but I thought this was a genius idea. I glued them back to back and made them into a tab. Is that cool for a sewing journal? You know, or a sewing themed section? I love it. She sent me another needle threader that was sturdier and thicker, and I'm keeping that one because I really like it. I didn't have one. There's another number 7. This is a trifold tag, and I think this is from Tracy Fox at Love Junk Journals. Okay, so that goes up there, and then this goes in the pocket, kind of holds the tag closed. Then there's this piece, well, this pocket first. This is just a page with some embroidery on it. This is something that she sent me. This is from Woman's Home Companion, and it's from 1925, March, and it's got some cool ads and stuff on this side, but I included it because here is cross stitch to be worked in colored wools, and it's where you order, like there's 5 different patterns that can be ordered. So I thought that was perfect to go with the embroidery and the cross stitch in this section. And then I made this little kind of tuck spot belly band out of some lace. I really love how that came out. I've never done one like that, but I will. I thought it was so pretty. And I love these green buttons. And I actually did sew them on. And then I just tucked some ephemera under there. This is like an old sampler piece. And then an ad for thread and another little embroidery card. And these are all held in here by one of these tiny little clips. Keep them from falling out. And on this side, this is just a guest check. I glued on a dress form. This is actually a dress form too, with a really pretty dress on it. So I just made that, sewed around the edge. Here's the pink doily. Here's a clothing ad, Women's Institute. Here's another charm. This one, this beautiful blue stone. Her birthstone is the sapphire. So that's why I put that. Isn't it gorgeous? Maybe it's real. I doubt it, but wouldn't that be something, huh? Pretty. Patriotic pattern. And then there's the page by Margaret at 7 Plaza. And the last piece for the sewing section is this waterfall card. This is actually, I guess you'd call it an upside down waterfall. Usually they go like this, and there, like that. But I used these old photographs, these old sewing photographs, and they were like Polaroids. So along the bottom they had that blank white spot. So that was the part that I folded up. And so it just worked out like that. And there's the old sewing machine, some spools of lace, some twine and scissors, some buttons, tape measure and a thimble, lace, and some wooden spools. And there's some buttons and fabric. That's a fabric rose. And then thread. And so you can see on this one the white there. So that's where I scored them and folded them so that I could put them all in. So that's why the waterfall goes in the other direction and it tucks behind this kind of little belly band. Okay, last signature. Pretty papers, the sepia and ivory. I love the neutral colors. I'm a huge fan of neutral though. Pretty bird. Let me just double check, make sure we're still recording. Yep, okay. This page is from a book of poetry, mother and child poetry. And then these are hydrangea petals from my yard. And then I made a die cut frame and I embossed it. And the embossing didn't cover the whole thing, so I inked it. Well, the ink like went on not everything, but I actually really like it. I like how the ink kind of framed out that bird. And then this paper that it's on is German, but you can see how the ink, and it feels waxy, I think, from the embossing stuff. I don't know, I haven't done a lot of embossing, so maybe I didn't even do it right, but it all worked out because this is blue. It all looks kind of cool. This is another page of that player piano music paper. It has the stars on it. And then here's the lyrics again. It says, "But if east is east and west is west, then won't you tell me why?" They sound very familiar, but I couldn't tell you the name of the song. But the lyrics, they do sound familiar. Here's another one of the French postcards. And it's got a stamp on it, a real stamp. And then just a journaling card. It's got peonies on it. And then I made this little pocket. It tucks in here, and that's got a little like applique. Couple little French pieces in here. Cool card with the Eiffel Tower. Oh, I didn't put a stamp on there. I don't know if I have one that little. I'll see if I can remember that. I'll look and see if I have something red. Beautiful rose, part of the kit. paper doily. This is a very vintage doily. I have a package of these. I think the package says they were 39 cents or something from a long time ago. I think the 50s. This sheet music is the song You're a Grand Old Flag. George Cohen. One of the things she collects or likes is patriotic memorabilia. So I used a paper clip with the music clef, and then I tucked a bunch of stuff in here. This originally, I had one piece that I wanted to give her, and that is this. This was my grandfather's, and my grandparents had one of those old photo albums with the black pages, and it had the corner, the little stickers where you tuck the photo into the corner holder things. Well, and then they had a lot of pages that had things stapled to them, postcards and stuff like that. They were snowbirds. They traveled a lot, and they went south in the winter time. Anyway, you can see this was stapled into that book. And after they died, my mom got the stuff, and then when she died, I got my grandparents' stuff. So this was my grandfather's. It's New Glory for Old Glory. And it's basically, this is a image of Fort McHenry. And on this side, it says it's a reproduction of original manuscript of Francis Scott Key's Star Spangled Banner, written September 14th, 1814. So this is him, you know, while he's waiting for dawn's early light. You can see where he scratched out some stuff and rewrote it, courtesy of the Maryland Historical Society. So anyway, that was my grandfather's, and I wanted to give her that since she collects patriotic ephemera. And then I kept finding stuff. There's a button card, Miss America Pearls. This is one of those decals that you either put on your window, your home window, or your car window, or you can put it on your bumper. So it's American flag decal. Then I found this very, very old, it's kind of delicate, sheet music, America the Beautiful. And what I really loved was down at the bottom, it has the Pledge of Allegiance. I remember learning that in school. We used to say it every day. You'd say the Pledge of Allegiance in the morning. And now they don't say it in schools anymore. Anyway, then I found this sheet of stickers, and I thought this was kind of cheesy. But what does it say? 1999, I think. So, I mean, it's 25 years old. And, yeah, very patriotic. So, I just thought I'd add it in here for her. This is something I just made like a couple days ago. I told her almost a month ago that I was almost done with this journal, and then I made the dangle, and I made this, and I made the pink fabric piece with the laces and gauzes, and I did the stenciling, and I just kept going even though I was supposed to be done. Anyway, I had said earlier, I think, that she likes birdhouses, so I had this scrap of fabric. This literally was this size. It already had the pinking shears cut on it, and there was another like little raggedy piece hanging off of here. So I cut that off, and I just sewed it to a piece of black cardstock. Oh, I forgot. I had this digital of these like birds on a wire in the shape of a tree. I thought that was really kind of cool. So I put that on the back, and then this fabric with all the different bird houses on it. Like I said, this was basically the size of the fabric. What else was I going to do with it? And since that was on her list of what she liked, I thought, how perfect is that? And then one of my favorite little paper clips, the bird paper clip. Put a little piece of lace hanging on his tail. So we're coming to the end. This is something, I have a few of these, and I wanted to give her one of these. This is vintage, kind of like a postcard or you write a letter to someone, and then you put your stamp here, and you write, this says to, you put your return address up here, I guess, but then you seal them with one of these, a sticker, and it says right here, seal. You put the seal on there, and then you mail it off. I've had these for so many years, I can't even remember where I got them. This is another of the first day issue envelopes, also 1956. There's Independence Hall in Philadelphia, and then this has a 10-cent stamp on it. July 4th. This was issued July 4th, 1956. That's kind of cool. It's kind of patriotic. This, oh, this is the last French dictionary page. And this one says smile. I think it's right over here. Yeah, that's the French word for smile. And this pocket, this little pocket here has a flashcard, Tim Holtz flashcard that says smile. I had to put a little tab on it or I wouldn't have been able to get it out of the envelope, so I backed it with just a little mini postcard. But yeah, it says smile on this side. The envelope there's a magnet under here and then a magnet, so that stays shut. That's magnetic. The reason I chose smile is because, now this is her favorite saint, Mother Teresa. And I guess she has a lot of quotes concerning smiles. Now, I didn't write them down or anything like that, but that's something she can do, is write down the quotes. I think the back of this page is empty. Yeah, she can put Mother Teresa's smile quotes on there. She actually told me that she made up her own quote about smiling back in the 80s. And what is it? I think I have it here somewhere. Soap is cheap and smiles are free. To have friends in life, you must use both. Isn't that cool? That she made up her own quote? Anyway, here's some Mother Teresa. It's now Saint Teresa. Saint Mother Teresa. Here's the daily prayer card, and it says Saint Teresa of Calcutta, I guess is what she's called. And then this is a vintage library card. Is this actually vintage? 1989. Yeah. Okay, and it's Mother Teresa. I just happen to have this in my stash, a Mother Teresa library card. So I thought, yep, that's going to go with her. And then the library card, this just came out of a book. It's a real one that came out of the front of a book. I was able to pull it out without it tearing. So that all goes in this pocket. And then there is the Mother Teresa Italian religious medal. And on the back it says pray for us. It's marked Italy. And then I had this little charm that said smile. So I put them both on there. Okay, there's another number 7. And then this pocket, this is another Real Press Flower card tag. This is one of the very first ones I made a long time ago. I've been holding on to it. And then this is the Footprints poem. This is a page, another page out of that same stationery tablet that I've had for 35 years maybe. I'm pretty sure it's from the 80s. So that's in there. And I should have this up on something. I'm almost done now, but it does make it easier. So, Deb, remember when you're looking through something, if you have something to put under there, a book or something, it does make it a little easier. That's the other side of the French dictionary page. Graph paper. This is a rub-on. I have about 100 of these, so I just stick them in journals. This pocket is one of the few things that it wasn't something that she liked. You know, everything else is related to her and what she said she liked. But this was like a collection of little menus, miniature menus. And she did send me this little coin roll. And the first thing I thought is like, oh, that would make a great pocket for little mini ephemera. So I put these little menus in there. And then also that pink thing is one she sent me. And it's like a coat check. So I thought, okay, well, when you go to restaurants and you eat out, you have a little, might have a little coat check. So I put these all in here. But my excuse really for making this pocket, there's another piece of French ephemera right here. But this was the piece I wanted to give her, and to make it go with something else, I made this recipe pocket or menu pocket. This is a real vintage menu. It's so cool. I found it in an old book, and it was actually in a glassine like bag, which is back here. I gave that to her too. But it's just it's an old menu, and I don't, you know, it's a little kind of weird for me. I think the main things you could order were birds, turkeys, goslings, ducklings, but it doesn't tell you what the side dishes are, like mashed potatoes or green beans or whatever. I think they used to just, you chose what you wanted, like, do you want turkey or do you want gosling or do you want duckling? And then they made the other stuff. You didn't choose. And then it has accoutrements, which was like maraschino jelly, Madeira jelly, Swiss pastry, almond pastry. Now those sound like desserts to me. Charlotte Russe, isn't that a dessert? But then down at the bottom it says dessert. And those were hothouse grapes, pineapples, Neapolitan and fruit ices. So I don't know, it's real old, but that's it. That's for you. I thought it was pretty cool, and I wanted to give it to you, so I made a pocket of menus to be able to give it to you. This is the other side of the music, the patriotic whole grand old flag music piece. So I had a couple more pieces. Actually, this is one that she sent me, and so I thought I'd put it back in here. It's so cool, the old school with the whole class and the American flag. And this is another one of those paper clips that's in the music clef, but the other one's black and this one's gold. And then this was a poem called The American Flag. Very, very old book. Very old. It was so delicate and brittle, I glued it to another piece of paper. So, a couple more patriotic pieces. A couple more pieces of French ephemera. This one is like 3 pages. Got the stamps on it and everything. And I did this kind of weird fold to kind of keep them together. And then there's an old black and white photo of the Eiffel Tower. And then, oh, this, I know what this is. This is another, like a copy of a postcard or something. Eiffel Tower. Okay, and then we got the doily, butterfly, another pocket here. I think this is the last postcard. It's got another stamp. I think that's happy anniversary. And then this tag with this old, I think, this might be called tatting, but I'm not sure. It's kind of delicate. Just a tag I made. And then this is one of those flip up, flip downs, place for writing. Use old, like cameo. And the part that's supposed to be glass, I put the Nouveau drops on it. Player piano music paper. This is the other side of that poetry. And then this pocket has a few more things in it. This is one of those alphabet cards. I was saying I really like those. I like to include several. And then these are some French postcards. You know, I have to be 100% positive. I don't think these are the originals. It's so hard to tell, because this is not two pieces of paper glued together. But I don't know if the originals are in this good a shape. I was going to give her the originals, but I can't find them. That's why I keep questioning. I'm like, are these them? But I don't think they are. They seem in too good a shape to be the originals. Here's another alphabet thing. It's sign language, though. I thought that was cool. I know the alphabet. And then this last thing, this is the glassine bag that old menu originally came in. I'm not sure why I took it out. I just wanted to put some other stuff in there, I guess. This is French. Oh, I should find a stamp for that, maybe. Okay, so I think we're almost done. Last page, yep. Okay, so in here, first of all, this pocket. Love this pocket. This is one of my favorite pockets. I only have a couple pieces left. This is from an old tablecloth. Huge tablecloth, but I got about 6 pieces like this off of it. And it's backed with the green masking paper. And then I got this little teddy bear die cut. Is he cute? I thought he was perfect to what kind of, you know, her collection of teddy bears. Another little French card. And then this is another one of those blue envelopes. It has a wax seal on it that says the letter D on it. And this one opens up in a different way. Instead of this way, it opens up the long way. And there's a letter. Okay, so that goes there. Then this is another for the stained glass. Like a little window with the stained glass butterflies. And then the last pieces, we've got another piece of French ephemera. Another one that's two-sided. The side's blank though, it just has the lines. It hasn't been written on. This had some script on the stamp, so I didn't cover it. And then this is a journaling card. Just a big one. I loved this paper, so I didn't really want to do anything to it, but it's got the beautiful fleur-de-lis. And then this was a piece I made. It's just a simple, has 2 pockets, and each one has a journal card that I made. I stamped the little design on the bottom. This one's the same. And I did the little collage. And that is the journal. Oh God, I wonder how long this video is. Okay, and there's the back. So that's it. Now that I've done the video, hopefully it recorded everything. It did fine. Didn't take an hour and a half. God, I hope it didn't take an hour and a half. And so I will be contacting you, and I'll get this in the mail as soon as I can. And I'm not going to post this video till I know you have the book. Okay. Okay, everybody. I have hopefully more videos coming up. I know I have some more journals, so I hope you stayed through the whole thing. I thank everybody. Thank you to all my new subscribers. I am going to take some time and try to respond to comments. I have a year's worth. I haven't been notified that I've been getting them, but I did know I was getting some. I just been not present for this kind of thing lately, but we'll hopefully get back into it. Okay, thanks everybody. I will see you later, hopefully in a very soon another video. Okay, thanks. Bye.